Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. And have I got a treat for you today? Oh, I haven't actually. It's a Wednesday video, so you buggers. I'm evil, I know. But it's a case you don't have to watch it. You don't have to bloody drink it. So I'm going to have some fun somewhere. But yes, today we're doing. I'm just looking at what it says on the can. Yeah, can. And I'm looking at it sitting there thinking, you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. It's just the words underneath the name. It's just like, is it really? Kestrel, extra premium lager, born in Scotland. Yes, Kestrel Lager. Remember Kestrel Lager? Well, they're back and they've expanded. They have. Oh yes, they have. You know. Yes. They've brought back the super strength. You know. Yeah, which is quite topical actually at the moment, because I think the lead singer of Supertramp died and apparently he loved it. You know. just like all Supertramps love a bit of Kestrel super, you know what I mean? Only super tramps drink Kestrel. Anyway, I know it's quite sad for any fans out there and that type of stuff. I did like a couple of their songs, but I thought they were a bit kind of girly in a lot of ways. You know, a lot of kind of too much harmonising and soft voices, you know what I mean? But they voted Liberal. But anyway, Democrat at least. So yes, this is Kestrel Premium Lager, born in Scotland. Apparently, it had its heyday in the kind of mid 80s to about the kind of early 90s. Then it died away. And then it was kind of brought back by the guy McNally, who was the former chairman of Wells and Younger. So he now owns the brand names. And I believe, going by my research, because I couldn't find anything to the contrary, but apparently my research all points to the Tennant's Brewery actually brewing this on their behalf. So they have a green one, which is their Kestrel Premium Lager, which was a kind of original one. Now you've got this purple one called Kestrel Extra Premium, which, going by what it was, I think it was 5%, and it's now down to 4.6, so that's gone well. And then, of course, you've got their Kestrel Super, which is, I think it's roughly about 9.5%, you know. Yeah, great for the Super Tramps, you know what I mean. And yes, apparently born in Scotland and brewed in, what does it say here? Born in Scotland and crafted, fucking cheeky bastards, using holy brewing method. Oh, Jesus, instead of doing the 5-day brewing, they've got to have basically a day of rest, so they do it for the 7 days, you know. God created the earth in 7 days. Well, apparently the holy brewing method, they created beer in 7 days, you know. That's a shit, which was a very popular thing in Scotland and that type of stuff. Fucking nonsense, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, commercial brewing, they'll do it for as long as they can get away with it. That's it, you know what I mean, because time's money, you know. But if you were basically doing it with all the will and time in the world, then you would allow it to kind of reach its kind of peak before you would maybe pull it or let it basically peter itself out with the fermentation process. But this is what they say. Oh, I'm getting itchy back now. Jesus. Fucking hell. Still 0-0, by the way. Serbia, England. Oh. Anyway. So Kestrel Premium Lager is a crisp and refreshing lager brewed using carefully selected hops, crushed malt, and a natural source of water, which is Lake Catrin, as far as I know. They get the water from Lake Catrin. Lovely. I've pissed in that, by the way. I've done a wee bit of fishing in Lake Catrin in the past and that type of stuff, and I have taken the odd slash in there, you know what I mean? So maybe there's a part of me in this. Fuck. Anyway. This sessional Belgian-inspired brew, remember that Belgian-inspired brew? Yeah, it's 4.6%. It's perfectly balanced with less carbonation for an easier drinking style. Well, carbonation costs money, so fuck it. You know what I mean? It's the Scottish way. You got a dirty rim again, for fuck's sake. What's she doing in that fucking fridge, by the way? She's like, I'll get the wee fucker. See if he notices this one. You know what I mean? Aye. There's big changes happening here, by the way. This space here is changing. Wife's got involved now. Jesus God. The stuff off camera here that I'm going to have to start building and implementing. So the next videos coming up will be under a kind of slightly different kind of how would you put it? Elevation. It's probably the best way of putting it. Jesus fuck. You can see me falling off the fucking head. But you'll see, yeah, nothing stands still when the wife's back, you know. Jesus. She wants to convert the loft as well now. She's excited. Then there's the kitchen. She wants the kitchen done. Women, eh? Alright. Just sort of let you see this, by the way. Get it poured. Well, it's for less carbonation, you can see it's quite fizzy. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's beautiful. But because it's a Wednesday video, oh yes it is, we will be back onto the non-alcoholic series. I will let you know about that. They'll be starting again quite soon. Just once I've actually sorted out the kind of non-alcoholic options that I've done. You know, the poisonous ones. And the whiskey of today is a nice Hieland single malt. It's Ardmore. One of the great things about Ardmore is get a nice little smoky back end. Don't you have, eh? Some light and farts, you know what I mean? Traditionally handcrafted in the Scottish Highlands, the Ardmore distillery has been watched over by a family of rare eagles since 1898. This is a place and indeed a process that brings man, might and metal together in celebration of the raw power of nature. Willie pish. Anyway, legacy. Lightly peaty, there we go. So light and sweet with a unique Highland peat smoke, which I like. I quite like this one. It's got a bit of a nice back end, you know what I mean? We all like a nice back end, don't we? I know when I'm basically watching people climb on a bus. Anyway, small pleasures, you know what I mean? Small pleasures. So yeah, might as well get this poured. Let's not piss about. It's Kestrel we're dealing with. Oh, Jesus. There we go. I've got a different glass today because I just thought, fuck it. I do that now and again. So there you go. So there you go. Nice wee. Oh. Right, anyway, we're here for the beer, aren't we? We'd be all sitting and think, oh, what's it like, Graham? What's it like? Oh, Kestrel, love it. So excited. Probably half of you are now basically switching over to a different YouTube channel, muttering words along that. What the fuck's he basically reviewing that pish for an arsehole? It's getting worse. Non-alcoholic news on the fucking Kestrel. The guy's a knob. Fair play. It's a valid observation. Very valid. Anyway, what does it smell of? Kind of grain, but kind of, I don't know what type of grain that's supposed to be. Yeah, it's a kind of, maybe a little bit hop there as well, but just get a kind of slightly off grain smell. You know. Right, so see what it tastes like. Fucking hell, it's carbonated. What the fuck were they talking about? Yeah. Yeah, it's that kind of. I don't know, it definitely kind of have a feeling of manufactured rather than brewed. Although, by the way, just to let you know that the Scottish Beer Awards, you know what I mean, this actually got a silver. It says a lot, doesn't it? But you'll be happy to know I do have some nice beers on order. I'm waiting for them to come in. I have some nice beers coming from Triple F. And if you don't know Triple F, they're bitter was won the Gold Award, top prize for the world's best bitter in 2025. There you go. So I've got that on its way, and I've got Miles. No, oh, fancy, wonderful things. You know what I mean? All things, and that's a Hampshire brewery as well, which I don't think we've really done a Hampshire brewery apart from. Would it still be Hampshire? No, I think it'd be Surrey, isn't it? Yeah, because the Tongue Brewery, you know, the, what do you call it? What do you call it? Oh, over near fucking Guildford, what do you call the bloody thing? Oh, something back brewery, I can't remember. Is it Ridgeback or Blackback or Blackback? Oh, fuck knows, I can't remember. I'm getting old now. But anyway, the one that makes Tongue tea, piss water. They're Surrey. I'm trying to think of any other ones. No, I don't think we've really done it from Hampshire, so there's a Hampshire one that's coming. But apparently, you know, it's got a good reputation. It's a good reputation. I used to live in Hampshire. And I've got to admit, some of the beer was quite disappointing. A bit like this. First impressions, it's kind of okay, a bit overcarbonated, a bit kind of sweety, and I just feel that the hops feel like it's some sort of extract and things like that. It just isn't coming across as wonderful as they claim it is. One of the good things is, though, it doesn't have the kind of metallic back end that you would expect from, you know, something coming from the Tennent's brewery, because everything else that comes from the fucking Tennent's brewery has a metallic back end. There you go. Excuse me about that, but imagine what this would be like if they didn't, with less carbonation for an easier drinking style. Imagine if they hadn't. What would that be like? Jeez, I'd explode probably. You know what I mean? It's like, it's Jesus fuck. It's well, it's kind of epitomises British lager a lot, doesn't it? It's kind of, it falls into line very quickly. We'll break down the flavours in a minute, but yeah, first impression is okay, nothing brilliant. Right, let's have a wee sniff at this little chook chook. Oh, you just get a nice little kind of peaty smell. So yeah, yep, get a little bit of sweetness. So yeah, you are getting, you just smell that slight syrupiness from it, and yeah, you're getting a nice bit of peat there. Not a lot of peat. It's not like an ale or that type of stuff, but yeah. Although I remember, what was it? So I used to do, well, I still do quite a lot of driving, but I used to do a really lot of driving. I was listening to a lot of audio books and things like that. And the amount of audio books that they can't actually pronounce the different kind of, anything to do with Scotland they can't pronounce properly. So you've got Islay, and it's Islay malt, Islay this and Islay that, and you're thinking, how many different narrators are going to fuck that one up? And it's unbelievable. And never mind when they get to any Russian pronunciations. Jesus God, gee. Oh, dreadful. So it is. Some of it is, it's embarrassing, you know. So it is. But yeah, Islay, it just drives you at the wall. Islay, and you're like, no, it's Islay. You mean, you don't say Island, do you fucking moron? So why would it suddenly be Islay? It's Islay, just like Isle and Island. It's not fucking difficult. You know what I mean? And these English people can, you know, portray that they can actually speak the language better than us. For fuck's sake, seriously. Pot lickers. But anyway, shall we sip of this? It's nice, even just straight, it's just very smooth. It's always been a nice one, the Admiral. I would always recommend it. But yeah, nice and reliable. If you like a little bit of smoke, if you don't like a bit of smoke in your whiskey, then it's not going to be for you. It's not a huge amount, but it is there. and I quite like that. I can have it without or with. I like both. I enjoy both, but a lot of people don't. You know, and I can understand that. We're all kind of different, and it's not a bad thing if you don't. But the thing is, though, you get the kind of slightly best of both worlds. You get that kind of slightly sweeter kind of maltage that you would get with a Highland malt. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Excuse me again, Jesus. And that's less carbonation. Jesus Christ. But you don't get much of an alcohol burn. You're getting a nice kind of smoothness to it. And yeah, you're just getting that nice kind of warm, peaty back end that just gives you a really nice finish, if you're into that. You know, and I like it because it also gives you a bit more of an interesting finish as well. It just gives you that slightly bit of warmth. So even at bottle strength, very nice, very drinkable. So I'm trying to remember what the alcohol content is. It's only 40%, you know. And yeah, they're calling it a single malt Scotch whisky, but then they're saying it's a marriage of peated and unpeated single malt whisky. Oh, a unique expression. Well, technically that means it's actually a blended malt whisky rather than. But you know what I mean. But I think they get away with it if they can get away with two, and it's from the same distillery, they can get away with it. You know what I mean. But yeah, there's some strange rules and regulations that allow them to kind of stretch, you know. But anyway, such is life. We'll put a wee bit of water in this, so we will. And just put a wee splash and just see where it takes us. Just a teeny wee splash. It's nice. I mean, a bit of water will die down the peatiness a little bit, and maybe just slightly raise the sweetness. You know what I mean? But I think straight from the bottle, the balance for me is fine. I probably think if you're going to maybe put water in it, maybe get away with maybe a couple of ice stones. You know what I mean? A couple of whiskey stones, or maybe a small little ice cube. But overall, nice flavours, nice little bit of sweetness there, a little hint of caramel or toffee, and a nice smoky back end. So yeah, recommend that. And out of 10, what would I give that? I'd give that an easy 6.5. It's a nice one to go for. Nothing kind of too fancy or overly expensive, but a good reliable one to have in your shelf, especially for people who coming in that like a bit of smoked, and if they don't, still give them it and tell them to fuck off if they don't like it. It's your house, you know what I mean? Your rules. Don't come in here and start dictating, you know. It's not the British government you're speaking to, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's get back to the lackluster beer, eh? Jesus Christ. It does come across, I think it's fairly cheap actually. Can't remember what it's called, but it cost. I'm sure it was maybe about between £3.50 and £4 for a 4-pack. And I just feel it's that slightly the kind of cheaper end. It doesn't feel as if it's like there's anything kind of premium about it, unfortunately. Let's break down these flavours. So starts off, you get a little bit of malt and plenty of grain at the front of the mouth, a bit of sweetness. For the level of sweetness and the level of malt flavour you're getting, I just feel that the sweetness isn't really quite there, you know what I mean? It's not really kind of connected, which tells me that the sweetness is maybe more to do with sugars than malt. Plenty of grain there, but again the grain just has a slight kind of edge flavour to it that just, to me, doesn't seem quite right. There's just something that just, I don't particularly like it, but the green flavour just has a little edge to it. And I don't know whether it's actually the green flavour itself, or maybe the hops are kind of interfering with it, because hops does that, you know. Hops can be a pest in a bus, you know. It can be away there and interfering with you, you know. There's a famous guy from the Leeds area that used to say, touch it, and yeah, it's kind of, hops can be like that. It's the Jimmy Savile of the fucking beer world. Too much of it, and you know, packet of Graven Haze isn't going to be much consolation. But anyway, moves into the mid tongue, and it's just very much of a mush. You've got this kind of grain flavour, you've got this sweetness. You're not even really noticing any malt in the mid tongue. You're noticing carbonation, definitely. And yeah, it just kind of goes along the other mid tongue, and then it kind of dissipates quite quickly. There's nothing bitterness, there's nothing kind of wonderful at the back end. It just kind of dissipates fairly quickly. And the last flavour to kind of dissipate is that kind of sweetness, that kind of slightly inverted sugar kind of sweetness. And yeah. I mean, it's okay. I think it's definitely kicking round about the kind of macro lager, mainstream piss water kind of territory quite easily. I think it's very comfortable in that company. And obviously the score I'm going to give it is going to reflect that. And it deserves it. Again, it's just one of these ones, it's like, let's make a beer, and it's more about the name than it is about the beer. They can put any shit they want in the can, they can put any shit they want in the can, you know what I mean? But it's all this type of willy pish and nonsense. And yeah, you think it's all just about kind of resurrecting a name, and it's all about the name, Kestrel, as if Kestrel was such a wonderful fucking beer in the 80s anyway. It wasn't. It's just the case is though that cask was taking a bit of a tanking, and a lot of pubs were going down the kind of easy route, that they were kind of removing, you know, some of their casks, if not all of their casks, and kind of bringing in the kind of the easy option of the pressurized keg and the chiller unit, you know, that type of stuff. And yeah, didn't matter what was going through your dirty pipes, because that was another thing, is the case as though they thought it was sold to a lot of pubs of being something wonderful and something great and everything else, and the future of beer and everything else, and it's trouble-free, you know, easy management, you know, easy maintenance, all this type of stuff, you know. The point is that for quite a lot of pubs, they weren't even cleaning their fucking pipes properly and everything, that type of stuff, so God knows what shit you were fucking getting in the 80s. From that point of view, it was dreadful. And yeah, so Kestrel was in amongst all that kind of piss water. Let's be totally honest, it wasn't that great. And now it's suddenly resurrected, and it's made by they haven't even got their own brewery. But you buy a beer brand, but you don't think, well, maybe we should brew it ourselves and we can control it. And that doesn't matter. Just basically commission some any old piss water from, you know, one of the local big breweries, and that, oh, Tennant's is there, that's fine, we'll just basically use a Tennant's brewery, you know, give us a price, oh, that's fine, doesn't matter, just fire it in the fucking can, you don't care. And that's what you're dealing with. So it's got nothing to do with all this quality beer and all this nonsense. It's just somebody's bought a brand and they're now basically milking it because they feel that they can. Oh, and it's born in Scotland, let's get a bit of nationalism. Well, you can't do the English nationalism, because apparently if you do that, that means you're far right, racist and homophobic and God knows what else, and basically Islamophobic, and you know what I mean? So you can't go down the English national pride, so we'll hit the Scottish one, that's fine. Aye, born in Scotland, brewed in Scotland, everything, aye, because you can fly the Scottish flag, and that's fine, you know, everybody loves that. You maybe think you're a fucking SNP supporter, which is tarnish your reputation, but anyway, you know, but that's what it's like, you know, it's all about perception rather than what's actually in the fucking can. It's just what's in the can doesn't really matter, you know, and that's what you feel like with it. So on that basis, it's a bit of a fucking con. You know, you feel that like you're drinking it and you're sitting there, you've read all the crap on the fucking can, you're drinking it and you're sitting there thinking, you just feel slightly conned, you know, by it, you know. So out of 10, what would I give it? um, out of 10, I would probably give it 2.5. 2.5. It's drinkable. It's overly carbonated. It's drinkable, but let's be totally honest. If you actually like, even if you like lager, you probably wouldn't really want to drink it. The thing is, though, it does feel as if it's a slightly kind of diluted version. So that, you know, they make the strong Kestrel, and it feels like it's slightly diluted Kestrel. It has that. I think that's what I'm getting in the grain. I'm getting them kind of slight accents, like slightly kind of chemical accents that you get with the high strength kind of cheap nasty lagers like Kestrel, Super, and all that type of stuff. And yeah, I think this is just a kind of slightly diluted version of it. I think, which makes it even more of a con. That makes more sense of why I'm not happy with what I'm getting from the grain flavours, because I think it has that slight kind of chemical edge to it, because it's not actually coming from the grain at all. It's just remnants of it basically being diluted from a stronger alcohol beer that's been brewed that way. So yes, 2.5 is the best I can give it out of 10. Would I recommend it? No. I think even basically, if you were wanting to go for mainstream piss waters, there's better options for mainstream piss waters than this. And at the end of the day, they don't give a shit what they put in the can, so why should you buy it? Because I feel that they just don't give a shit. So my view is, don't buy it. If they don't care, why the fuck should you? There's the reality. So it's a 440ml can. It's sold as a 4-pack. No, it's a 500ml can. I'm telling you lies. A 500ml can, 4.6%, is a 4-pack. It might be different down in England because they don't have that kind of minimum pricing for alcohol, but it's roughly around about the kind of £4 mark. There's about £1 a tin. But I'll confirm that down below. And yeah, don't bother. So thanks for watching. Cheers. And bye for now.